Howdy my friends, and welcome back to more Let's Play Gran Turismo 4. This is Car Hurricane. I hope you're having a super awesome blessed day and ready to delve into adventure. This awesome racing game, man. So many good memories with this game. This is my favorite as far as I remember, and golly, y'all, I'm excited. I'm so stoked for this, and this is going to be a thing. And like I said, we will be going for 100%. So in this first part, we're going to be looking around and seeing about buying our first car. Technically, I don't have to do this because this game is very forgiving on and very nice and generous on giving you cars. So I wouldn't even really have to buy a car, but it's just so fun buying a car. I mean, golly, it is. It's like the most fun thing ever, man. I mean, like, golly, if it wasn't so expensive in real life, man, I'd buy me a new car all the time, you know, but I just, you know, can't afford to do that, obviously. So, secondhand car dealer, try to pick up a performance car at a budget price. There are 3 secondhand car showrooms on this map. So, what I'll do in this part is we will look at all these 3 historic car, used car showrooms and kind of look at all of our options here. I'll talk about the best options. Of course, you know, I'm going to try to make things a little more interesting by picking something that'll be a little more of a challenge. Maybe, instead of, you know, because there are some really fast cars that you can actually afford at the start, which is pretty crazy. But after we do that, we'll probably do the Sunday Cup in the beginner events. And that'll probably be it for this part. After that, we'll probably, I don't know, we'll either do another cup in the beginner events, or we may go ahead and do the B license. I hadn't decided yet. Alright, so let's look at what we got here. So we can get an Isuzu Piaza. 133 horsepower front engine rear-wheel drive, so it probably would have pretty decent handling considering it's an 81. But yeah, that thing, man, ain't that beautiful? Oh no, not really my style. Now this thing here, this Honda City, well, I cannot talk. Honda City Turbo was pretty lightweight and almost 100. Well, if you change the oil, it would have over 100 horsepower. Notice they advertise horsepower in the front is higher than what it actually has. It's because, you know, it needs an oil change. Anytime you buy a used car, you definitely want to do that. But this actually is pretty good for the, you know, pretty good price for that actually. And then this is even cheaper, but it has a little less power too. The Civic 83. So not a bad option to start with. I think you could probably do these. You should be able to do the Sunday Cup pretty easy with that, I would think. I mean, it is very lightweight. That's one thing you have to look at. Does it tell you the power weight ratio? It does not tell you the power weight ratio, unfortunately. So you kind of have to do that math in your head. I think even Gran Turismo 3 did the power weight ratio for you. That's something that you really want to look at because they can give you a good idea for the overall performance of the car. And then another front engine front wheel drive 83 Honda. You got a Ballad, which about the same as the Civic, really. So cute. Yeah, CRX. So this is where this was the predecessor to the CRX 90. They actually have about the same power, I guess. This is a really good car to start with, and not much more expensive. This Toyota Corolla. And it's really not much heavier, but more powerful. It's definitely a good beginner's car, and has pretty good handling, actually, in this game. When tuned all the way up. Sprinter Truno was a pretty good little car there. As well, the same thing. Now, one of the best options to start with, look how cheap this thing is, would be this Mazda RX-7 85. 187 horsepower. You would be very overpowered in the Sunday Cup with this. You wouldn't have any difficulty at all. But, you know, we're obviously not going to pick that, but that's a good option for you. Whew, you could go with the Honda today, but, well, you might want to get you a nitro kit because you're probably going to suck. One thing this thing does have going for it is 550 kilograms. It's actually not much lighter, though, than the Ballad and the Honda City Turbo. So you'd be better off going with that, but, you know, at least you would have a little money for tuning, so might be able to get you a Stage 1 Turbo and a Nitro, and you might actually have a chance. Now, this Toyota Celica Gtr, I actually really thought about starting with this, but I don't know. It's really not that heavy. I mean, it's one of the heaviest we've looked at so far, but it also has the power. 140 horsepower. 157 if you oil change it. And then we got an MR2 even. You know, I love looking at all these cars, man. So, one thing I love about Gran Turismo 4 is you have so many options, man. One thing I just love is checking the car dealership. And sometimes they have some really surprise cars in it, you know. They're pretty awesome. That's a pretty cute car. And then this is a little more expensive, but it also has a little more power. And it's actually lighter, I think. 1,070 kilograms. But in all honesty, that Toyota Corolla would be better, I think. And for some reason, the MR2 can be kind of feisty to control, so. And a BE 187. Oh man, that's a cream puff, ain't it? Cord 88. This is very expensive, actually. I mean, you'd be much better off going with the Corolla, but you know, for a challenge, we could go with this. It's pretty heavy too. It's actually as heavy as the Celica, or maybe heavier, and less horsepower. So probably more expensive though, because those Accords have pretty high resale value. Yeah, Nissan canopy thing. It's actually cheaper than the Accord and lighter weight. So you know. I don't think I've ever used this car in this game. It's actually tempting, surprisingly. I'm wondering what this little thing can do. You know what? Is this car even in Gran Turismo 6? Because Gran Turismo 6 really brought up the amount of cars from 3 and 5, but I don't know. I don't know if that car is in. It's a car I don't think I've ever bought in any Gran Turismo playthrough. Of course, the Silvia, always a good choice. I mean, powerful and lightweight, and not much more expensive than the RX-7. This is another super good choice to start with. Very, very good choice to start with. And will also tune up very nicely. And then the Silvia Q. Now this Carina here, I'm really eyeing this thing because I like the way it looks, and it's got reasonable power, but it's also kind of low at the same time, so I wouldn't really be overpowered. And what's even best of all is it's an 89. That's the best thing of all. I'm kidding, I'm playing. I'm an idiot, but anyway, that is the best number of all. But anyway, I don't know, let's keep looking. We also got this Mitsubishi Galant 89, which would take all of our credits, but a very, very good choice. All-wheel drive, so it'd be very easy to control. Good traction, all that good stuff. And, well, it looks pretty cool, you know? Yeah, that car would serve you very well. So, yeah, that'd be good. And then, well, the Minica, I don't think we really need to look at those, do we? And the Payo. Payo has a very unique styling. You know, it's an 89, but Nissan really tried to make this look like it was from the 60s or something. It's kind of interesting, actually. In a way, I kind of like it. I mean, it's unique. Most 80s cars don't look like that. They usually have boxy shapes. Oh, man, the Skyline Gtr 89. Now, this Mazda Miata 89 would actually be a lot better than that Carina. But I'm really eyeing that Carina because I'm weird and I want to make things a challenge. Now, another good choice, I guess the fourth good, really, really good choice in the historic car starting out would be this Skyline GTS M89. Because, well, look at the stats there. Very powerful. Actually, the most powerful, I think, in all of these setups, and really not that expensive. Well, yeah, I guess it's more powerful than the Galant, too. So, yeah, so you have this one, the Nissan Skyline. You have the Mitsubishi Galant. Really good choice. The Silvia K's another really, really good choice and cheap. And then your last really, really good choice would be this RX-7. GT Limited. But, you know, those would make it way too easy, and I can't do that. So, let's look at Used Car Showroom 1. Interesting, the historic car goes from anything below, or anything from 1989 and below. Now, the used car, I think, goes from 1990 to 95, I want to say. Yeah, I was right. So anyway, let's keep looking. And by the way, this menu soundtrack I have here is my favorite menu soundtrack in this game. I just love this soundtrack. And the CRX SR90, which is, I guess, is the you know, came after the Ballad. Actually heavier than the Ballad, but more powerful. So, you know, I guess it all evens out. You have to sacrifice a little weight for some power. So, Fiat Panda, do we really need to look at this? Oh, Fiat. This is not a bad choice to start with. Nissan Primera, or Infiniti G20. Seems like every time I record, somebody has to mow the lawn. It's amazing. Hope you can't hear that. Once again, another RX-7. Very good choice. This is a little more powerful, too, than the 85 version. And actually can't afford that Supra. Suzuki Cappuccino. Now, this actually wouldn't be too horrible of a choice either, because there is a cup that you could really do well with this car for. So, not actually a horrible choice, believe it or not. And then the Celica Gtr, but of course it's red, so. And I discriminate. I love Celicas, though. That's why I was so tempted to buy the Celica 86. That's a tempting choice for me. But the Celica 86, I kind of did mess around. It is a little overpowered for the Sunday Cup. This Civic here is a good choice. Not as good as the choices I mentioned earlier, and historic, but you know, Prelude would be another really good choice to start with, along with that, along with the 4 or 5 that I showed you in the historic, and the Mazda RX-7 here. And pretty good stats there, and easy car to control. And another Silvia Cage, you can't go wrong with this. Although front engine rear-wheel drive, if you're not good with handling that, you could lose control, you know. But it's not bad. I like the Silvias. And that Silvia Q, you know, less powerful. But you do well with the. And then the Beat, very cheap, and like with the Suzuki Cappuccino, not a bad choice actually. Actually, not a bad choice for the lightweight K-Car Cup. And then another Civic, pretty much the same as the other one, except for a different year and a weird color. I actually like this Del Sol because I like that color. That's a pretty cool color, actually. Pretty rare color to see. And, you know, 150 horsepower and 1,100 kilograms. Pretty peppy. It would be probably overpowered for the Sunday Cup, I would imagine. Probably the overall best choice out of all these, out of all cars to choose from at the very beginning, is this Lancer. I actually am shocked that this is under 10,000. I mean, look at this. It's actually not really any heavier than that Carina I was considering, and double the horsepower almost. Yeah, that would be very overpowered, I imagine. You could probably easily do the Sunday Cup and the 4-wheel drive challenge with this without any problem. Good choice if you're, you know, into kicking the opposition's booty, which I'm sure I will be doing in some of these. Toyota Serra. I've never started with this car, but you know, pretty lightweight. It's got the power to boot, so I think it would be a good choice as well, but not, you know, definitely not the best. Another Beat, another Civic SR, Mazda 323F, also known as the Mazda Atlantis. Pretty heavy, but it's got power, so it's got some power, man. And then a Mazda Miata. Oh, I kind of like that yellow. So it looks pretty cool in this car. We will have to buy a Mazda Miata at some point. That's a little more expensive than the 89 though. Of course, another Miata. And then actually can afford this FTO GR though. The GR is not as good as the GPX. But pretty good car actually to start with. Not a bad choice. Another Cappuccino, another Civic. A ton of Civics, man. And then another Miata. So that's pretty much all you can afford on those. And then the last showroom, which is 96 to, I want to say 2000. I may be wrong on that though. And you can't afford many of these since they are newer. Can't afford the Civic Type R 97. Barely. Actually, wouldn't be a bad choice. You wouldn't have very much difficulty if you chose this thing at the start. Although you would be drained for money, so you could do very easy on the Sunday Cup, but you might have a little difficulty after that. You might have to do the Sunday Cup twice to be able to do the FF Cup. Or, well, you could do the Sunday Cup and then sell the car you win for the FF Cup if you want to do that. The Hatsu Mira, or Mira, I don't know how you say it. Probably not as good as the Beat or the Cappuccino. Or the look of the move, oh god. Oh, Daihatsu move. Yeah, that's not a thing. That's not a thing you want. It's MR2G Limited. Actually, I'm surprised that this thing's so cheap. This is another really good choice. Very powerful. Of course, it's not the same as the turbocharged MR2, the GTS, but it actually probably is easier to control since it's not turbocharged. But it has the power. I mean, it would serve you very well at the beginning of the game here. An MX-5 Miata. Still got that same body style. I guess in 98's when they changed to the new style. And then another Civic Type R. A Nissan Cube. Oh my goodness, gotta have it. Oh gosh, that thing's heavy, man. Wow, that's really heavy for that. The Hatsu Storia. Yeah, that's a thing. That's heavy too, very heavy. Be much better off choosing the Beat. That might be able to get into the compact car challenge though. I think 3,700. I'm not sure. Toyota Sprinter Truno. So you can get this. I like this little car. Pretty peppy too, 157 horsepower. But, you know, kind of like with the Civic, you drain all your money. And actually, that's a little less powerful than the Civic. Not that much though. You can get you a Demio. Not a bad car to start with. Yeah, I know I waste a lot of time doing all this, but man, I hope y'all are enjoying along with me. You know, I just love doing this. I love car shopping, you know, looking at all my options. March is a cute little car, but you probably would be a little underpowered. Vitz, same thing, be a little underpowered. And probably would be too heavy for the lightweight K car. I mean, I'm sure it could enter in because it's less than 3,700, but it's kind of heavy. That weight would get in the way. Yeah, here's the new Miata styling. I think they changed it in 98. I love that color though. It's a beautiful color. Yeah, it's Astoria. Now this actually is not a bad choice. Pretty light, and it's got power. I mean, it's actually lighter than the Carina, and it's got as much power, so. Alright, but I think we're going to go with that Carina, because you know I like it, and I'm weird. I mean, it's a cute little cream puff, what can you say? And plus, I've never really used this in any of my playthroughs. This is a car I've never used, so I kind of want to do some different cars in this game. This game does have a lot of different things to choose from. So yeah, pretty underpowered here. Let's get in this baby now. And this thing does have some pretty hideous looking rims, so probably will change that even though it's not important. But a few things to note here is when you buy a car or when you put rims on or anything. It actually goes in your diary. Yeah, purchase a used Toyota Carina 89 red Mika. So let's go to GT Auto. I guess I can show this off. So I had 111 horsepower, but the oil change, look at that dirty, dirty oil. Look at that. This should bring it up pretty good. Now the thing about some of these races is the AI variation is very wide, so and it depends on how much trouble I'll have, depends on what order they put all the AI in. So like if they put the fastest cars in the very front, then I may have a lot of trouble. Let's see what today's special is. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. Let's get that HOO 250, whatever that is. So we still have 3,300 credits. And now I'll say that took an extra day. But yeah, up to 125 horsepower, so. Yeah, so pretty much, most things you do, changing the oil doesn't take a day, but getting different wheels takes a day.